Doll Forager apparently has been queued up versus Mr. Death. So we'll see how that goes. I thought he would have queued up against somebody who was higher up in the standings, but Mr. Death might only have one loss, in which case that would be how it's evening out Swiss. It also tries to avoid pairing people up against who you've played before. And yes, Mr. Death has only one loss, so it's decided that's the best pairing there. Let's close this, reopen this, and see where we're at. Eski Einstein, Dante Legend. Yep, we saw that. Just fixing up something here, but doing a lot of admin work in the background that kind of goes silent. I need like a Farkas kitty to come here and just meow, meow, and just keep pestering you guys. Alright, that will automatically resolve as just someone flagging someone who's not ready to up. That system has functioned fine, which is nice. Moss and Fellerin are getting ready to get in game. Just scroll back down through this. Still no luck. But check-in ends in... check-in was set to 10 minutes. I think for future tournaments, we might lower that down to 5 just to get things moving quicker. Artie Plaza. That is someone in the tournament. Let us set up our dual spectate there and get to it. In current standings, Artie Plaza is in the running. He's currently ranked 8th by tiebreaker, and he's versus Deep Blue on his Goblin list. So it looks like... oh, this is the pseudo-Goblin, pseudo-Shenanigans deck. Tribunal from Artie. So imagine you use the curse to protect your curse-drawing Gobbo. Is that worth a skirmisher? Artie decides it is.
Care to make a friendly wager?
Goes ahead and drops the corner club, gambling that Artie's not going to have a way of removing it. So really hoping for no bolt. For cards to discard, picks the curse. Fair enough, and doesn't go face.
Time to make more enemies.
Goes ahead, guards up just to prevent damage coming face. So Artie's going to be attempting to set up control, whereas Deep Blue is really needing to close with face and deal with the drain. Opts to keep his creature alive. I'd imagine that involves holding the curse in hand.
You bet on the wrong side.
3 feathers not a bad pickup, especially comboed with the curse. Go ahead and boop him down to 20. Get rid of the traitor because it's a little too late for him. Don't want to be giving your opponent a guard.
You bet on the wrong side.
Do we have the Leaf Lurker? Yes. So clears off the draw and is ready to go.
I will keep the animals safe.
Decent size Sahan there. So what have we got in hand? Let's take a look. We've got the Bloody Handshaft. Looks like we're going to be comboing it with Scourge. And we've got the Sahan. We've got a lot of burst in hand. That's 12 damage face. We just need to be able to connect for more damage. Sahan, even wounded, is able to trade with the Leaf Lurker without taking damage in return.
I have many important things on my mind.
Yep, trade and face. You're winning, no reason to change that up. Alright, guard just kind of slowing that down, using the Leaf Lurker then to clear it. Alright. Sheer Point's not a bad pickup. Still need to deal with all the damage, so goes with Sai Sahan. Hoping to bait out the triple curse to clear him, I guess. Only's gonna need one curse given the Leaf Lurker. Type it up with people in Discord right now, figuring out what we're going to do for future qualifiers, because there's some legitimate concerns being raised as to how much Swiss is breaking under this stress, but I think it's going to be something we're going to be able to work around. We'll see going forward.
The forest is my cloak.
Still maintains that he wants to go field. It's a really good board building there. Conjuring and Negation, not super great. You're really hoping to pick up a Flame Atronach. Instead, you've got a Frosty Boy. I would have negated our friend Sai Sahan here. He's going to be able to get the curse here, and he's going to be running tons of curse effects as goblins. And that allows for the trade.
Try something. You won't live to regret.
Do you go face? He decides yes. Tazcad means there's an opportunity to find lethal. One magic off. If you trade into Sai Sahan, 7 plus 8, 15, 16, yeah, it was exact lethal regardless, and you know your opponent picked up your Tazcad. So you're playing to the Prophecy Bolt out, knowing your opponent can't heal.
This one won.
Strike 1.
You've angered me.
And strike 2 and 3, because there's no third rune.
Bow to your victory.
So that was good. Good game. Well played on both sides. Looking back at the top, I want to see if I can scroll down and find Mox Maldi. Not in-game. Who else is at the top? Doll Forager is in-game. And we can get the dual spectate going. Glorious. And the match has ended. Somebody won. Endol is up at the top and had the mono green, so we'll see what they're running. Currently, Endol is ranked 4th, according to the standings. So apparently he's playing versus Seth Dove. I'm not looking at the bracket, so yes, that is accurate. We're on the Evanhart control.
I will protect Faith.
In hand, we've got a Tazcad, Skirmisher, Bitterfish. Endol's side, we're probably going to see Fel the Mighty come down to clear Gobbo Gobbo. The guy who's going to be a 5/5 once this is all said and done. But I think Seth Dove's in a solid position to try pushing face here. Especially against an altar control deck. If we use Fel the Mighty, that leaves Barrowstalker on guard.
Of the living.
Yep, Cliff Racer's going to have to come down if you want the trade. Alternatively, you could use Skirmisher. The advantage of Cliff Racer... it's not really a huge advantage in Cliff Racer. It's just who takes the damage. Regardless, Debilitate wipes. So I guess the disadvantage of Cliff Racer is Debilitate wipes. The advantage of playing Murkwater Scourge is you play around the idea of a Debilitate. If Cliff Racer goes Field, the advantage is you're able to push more damage. So trade-offs, little trade-offs. You're just trying to get your opponent to win within Tazcad range at 6. And you're looking at being able to push 6 damage this turn, dropping your opponent to 11. Most importantly, clearing their drain. Oh, trades. That makes sense. Maybe we'll see a Skaven Sanctuary pet here, as that's a near equivalent to a Debilitate. Nope, straight up Debilitate. So, Chef Skirmisher. Same lane, both Shadow, just needs to connect for 7 more damage. Sank Pet. Galen Oathman? That doesn't really help you. And you don't get the battle unless you play Galen, and you don't get the extra health unless you play Sank Pet. But it does set up for a Skaven next turn?
I will keep Sofa Sill's people alive.
I'll scare ahead.
Back off, dry skin.
Decent guard. The Leaf Lurker is a nifty way around that. If you Tazcad in, you're able to push for 8, but you lose your burst. Goes for the trade just to push as much damage as possible this turn. The 4/4 is also slightly more resilient. Debilitate. What's this do for us? Not a whole lot. Alright, so you Sank Pet. Well, Skaven, Sank Pet, Pact Oathman. That's 8 Magicka. You need to keep Journey. No, you don't, apparently.
Let's heat things up.
You Sank Pet the 4/3. Then Pact Oathman clears one, and Galen clears the other. Murkwater at least allows you to clear the lethal. Theoretically, leaving Durzog? I think the name is Durzog alive.
The forest is my cloak.
So you're dropping your opponent down to a 2-1. He's just got to close 3 more damage. How many Cliff Racers are left? 1. The curse keeps this alive. That's something. I would probably do it because that helps me set up a theoretical lethal. Seth Dove makes the same decision. Okay, Necromancer. What do we have for cheap charge? Oh, we can pull back Skaven. Alright, so you keep Rapid Shot here. Rapid Shot's not enough to clear that. Alright, so you're gonna pull back Spooter to lock Skulk down. Make sense? Because this is just gonna pull Ungolem, which is useless. He doesn't save you.
Rise, my servant.
Oof. So Shearpoint providing the answer to the Barrow Stalker. Yeah, you want to keep that in shadow, buddy. There's no reason for you to risk a Viper. Alright, Conscription. I don't think provides an answer unless the guard randomly rolls here, and you can't trade off your creatures, which is sad. if you run puppers and he randomly gets pulled, then you're fine. Otherwise, you're hoping... Well, otherwise you're playing Fighters Guild directly here and going, well, that holds off Sheer Point in theory. And I guess the in theory is better than not in theory. Squish your own creature to get card draw. Hist Mage is a much better wall. Squish the 0/1. Or do you play around... Ooh. So you're choosing to play around Curse rather than playing around Cliff Racer, which I think is the better play. So the advantage of going Dusk Eater Skirmisher to field is you're not going to have an answer to that guard. I guess maybe it helps you clear if you get a Cliff Racer. Beautiful pulls there. He gets the clear, he's got drain. He's got guards in both lanes.
It's a worthy contest.
Three Feather War Chief is not enough. I think that's going to be enough for Endol to pull this one out. Start cycling your card draw over on the Marshblade.
I lurk in the shadows.
Keep cycling card draw. Find another way to get more health gain. That's not a bad roll there. No, no, no. Don't play that first. Don't play that first. Sheer Point first. Munch on this guy. Then 3 Feather down the guard. Or the drain. Or that. I guess you're saving 3 Feather. We're going to start cycling 2-drops here with 2 different altars. Did throw away Journey, so we do need to watch what our cards in deck are. We're at 36. There's some more drain. Leaving the guard up, I assume, just because guard.
Face the bladelessness of Valenwood?
Opts to get rid of the curse generation. Then cycle her for more draw. And a little bit of ramp. Ooh, drain, but sadly next turn it is draw a card. So this is hard removal. So you can use that to clear the Barrow Stalker entirely. Which I think sadly needs to be done. I think Endol's gonna take this. Without... Have we already seen a Sai Sahan? We have not seen a Sai Sahan. Without a Sai Sahan pool, it's going to be really hard to come back from this board. And I think Endol is too good of a player to fall victim to the classic blunder of running out of cards, and with 34 left in the deck, it's still going to be relatively hard to do. This is why I like Goblins running a single copy of Heist, because once you get a game to this point, you've got that possible, maybe, in a distant world, you might be able to find lethal. More guards, some shackles. More card draw. Not pulling Spooter into Shadow Lane was unfortunate, but you also really don't want to sack your guards there.
That was splendid.
You do have double Spider if you want it, or single Spider if you're going to go that route. Dusk Eater Skirmisher. So you sack your 4-2 into the 3-1, or sorry, the 3-4. Your 1-3 into the 1-2 because Dusk Eater clears Skinned Hound. There's another big guard. If you're feeling especially spicy, could just snipe that off. But I imagine we're going to see Moon Phase come down to... Well, that works. I mean, it's the best trade you're going to get. Camel. Pulls a Necro. We are cycling our deck really quick with those camels and those altars. We're now down to 20 cards remaining. Pulling back a Barrow Stalker for additional drain would be my assumption. Oh, sorry. Pulls back a Moonphase Suthe. Forgot we had one of those in the graveyard. Well, Leaf Lurker clears a 1/1 lethal. Nope. Setsup knows when the writing is on the wall. He fought for as long as he could, as hard as he could. But it is time to admit defeat. Good game to you both. Let us see who else we have in game. Specifically prioritizing... Alright. Mox Maldi. Only going to be able to hop on one side, but that is going to be sufficient for me. Alright, so we know about the cloak from Rising High. 19 health. And that's not sticking around. Oh, it's turn 5. Okay. Still, I think Mox is going to have the lockdown here.
You can trust me.
1, 2, 3, wipe. Okay. I see we've got a clown. Just 1, 2, 3, straight clear it. There is a finger of the mountain, and they're all pointed at you. Die now. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Of course I'm on your side. At the ready.
I kind of like the idea of the Emperor's Blade there. I think I'd hold on to Skinned Hound, though, and I might just play the Grey Viper. Cause I'm not sure what was gained there.
I will spill your blood.
The Norns must take back Sky.
No, you played around that. Queen's Captain is on Destroy a Creature. Alternatively, we could hit for 6 and then drop a Hallowed Death Priest over into the Shadow Lane. Looks like the Queen's Captain's winning out. Knocks him to 26. That was a very timely Jarl. I can't imagine anything being played over there. Another Cloak and Dagger. Start setting up for lethal. Was it worth it? Apparently it was. Prophecy could have been a little ugly. Nukes the Cliff Racer. Nothing higher than 5 attack, or 5 cost. Jarl trades with the Gatekeeper. I mean, a Red Year reset's probably the best Rising High could hope for. Leaf Lurker, Cliff Racer? Assuming he has those in hand. That allows him to clean up this, or the Emperor's Blade and the Queen's Captain. Leaf Lurker staying in shadow, but you still don't win. You're behind on board. Archer's not really great at coming back into it.
I have your scent, and soon I'll have your blood.
Alright, Butcher's helpful.
We stand united.
I am ready to join
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No rune skip. So just go face and, well, win. Good game, Mark. Max Maldi. GG, Rising High, well played. I look forward to seeing you guys next match. And with them both being up near the top of our standings, both being specifically undefeated, we will be waiting for them to go back into it, and we will observe their game. Meantime, let me see if I can get Rising High added in-game. Rising High and Rising Higher. Love it. I do see that Doll Forager has finished up his round in round 5 and has advanced yet again undefeated, taking up his spot in the finals. Between Rising High and Mox Maldi, one of those two is going to be our second player. And, for what it's worth, aside from the bragging rights of having won, advance into the finals tourney, that's kind of a thing. They won't need to sit through any of these other qualifiers. They just get to sit back on their laurels and enjoy it. I am a stubborn one, and I am going to wait for them, though. In the meantime, I'm going to check and see if there's any other matches. I think it's only been those 3 matches that have messed up. Which means that, in the long term, everything kinda went according to plan. Ish. Kinda. Maybe. Ah, Mox Maldi, that was actually their round 3. Mox Maldi reporting the score, 2-1 versus Rising High. I will report it. I will even type it in. I shall report it. I can English today. Everything's fine. So it will be between Mox Maldi and our Doll Forager. Congrats to them both. I look forward to that match next round. Who all do we still have in game that we can watch? We have not seen Melindrome. So let's hop in. Oh, he's in a versus match. Herpa derpa 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 herpa. Nothing to see here. Just your general warrior deck. Doing general warrior deck things. Who is in a friendly match? Moss is. So Moss is versus Fellerin, who had the Dwemer list. Yep, part of us picking this is specifically, I want to watch Dwemer again. Oh, hi, kitty kitty. You walking away? Goodbye, kitty kitty. Well, Fellerin has the Crab Dwemer out. This is what we would call a disadvantageous position. Empire's put in a solid showing. And for those of you who may be curious about what decks our top contestants are running, we will show, once we advance to round 6, I will pull them up on screen. I will also have those images linked to in the Discord once everything is done. Alright, a clear. The Dwarven Dynamo does set that up as a 5 health guard. No. We've got Cliff Racer in hand. I do not see a way to win. Ghost Gate, Exalted. Yeah. Get revenge for the sweet roll. The highest kitty. You're getting 6. Kitties have been all over that food dish today. Just haven't wanted to be on the cat tree. It has been unfortunate.
We'll have to settle this the hard way. We must hold the gate.
Alright, there we go. That is the victory. Congrats. That was that report. Let's hop in, check out Corey Millhouse. He is versus... He is done. Let's check out Aquaman, who is versus Vlad 2209 2004. Alright, so we've got a little bit of some control going on. This is what a control guild's for. Running Morag Tong Nightblade. Nifty. Has already played 2 Laneths and a Marak. That may have been Aquaman's Laneth. What conscription is that we ran out of things? That is our second conscription. Just clearing off the shackled creature. Flesh Atronach is plus 22, plus 22. Can be given charge by Bandari. So we're looking at a very short game. Starting next turn. Oh, maybe starting 2 turns. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 4 is 12. Alright. 4 plus... So 29, 30... Yeah, that's lethal, with rune skips. How big can you get this guy? I don't think you can get him big enough to be rune skipped, actually. So is it worth waiting to just know you can skip the rune next turn? If the go is Scout's Report, the answer is yes. Because then you play Murkwater Scourge, Curse Down the Hunger, and Viper the Giant. And pray to everything holy that Vlad doesn't have a Memory Wraith. Was that enough? Yep, that's enough. GG. Big fleshy boy, go face. We're gonna get a good GG emote. Nope. Aquaman just putting his opponent out of his misery. Thus ends 2 control decks doing control deck things. Who is still in it then? Corey is in a separate friend challenge, as that does not appear to be tournament related, as I see that all scores have been reported. Looks like we're waiting on Michaela and Ninjaro, who are currently 1-1. So let's hop in there. Ninjaro representing Canada. Michaela is SE. What country is SE? I'm trying to think through it. You guys have probably already figured, well, in 10 minutes, you guys would probably already have figured it out. Sweden? Probably Sweden. Does that count as a dead creature? No. Alright, so we've got a good mid-range sorcerer here. Versus a... What do we want to call it? I mean, it's just a conscription Telvanni. Running Death Side, which is interesting. Is it worth muting your own guy? You lose the ward, but you push 5 damage face. So mute target here, drop your opponent to 6. Fingers of the Mountain. 1, 2, 3. Alright, looks like he goes for the Fingers play, just opting to leave his own guy shackled, use the ward to his advantage. That makes more sense than the half-witted play I was coming up with. Then you clear draw, discard Kitty. Yup. Knock him to 11. Laneth, not useful. Sank Pet, helpful. Alright, so you sack both of your creatures in. You Sank Pet here. You Blackhand Messenger that. That goes down to 1 hit point. 2 creatures have died. Actually, you can even Blackhand target self. 3 creatures have died. And then you drain for 3 to kill off Daggerfall Mage. That costs you 4 magicka. You have 4 remaining. No, that costs you 6, 7 magicka. You have none remaining. Well, 1 remaining, but functionally 0. I think that's the play I like. It's a heal for 4, 5, 6. It's a heal for 7, so you go back up to 18 health. Because you get 2 damage, Blackhand dealing itself, and then the last gasp to heal 2 more. Is that lethal? I think that's lethal. Mute. Mute. Mentor's Ring. That gives you 1 rune skip. There's game. Congrats, Ninjaro. Got some nice mute value. And that's going to wrap the game up. 2-1, his favor. Aquaman Vlad are now the one remaining match. Aquaman is up here because this is alphabetical. He's not in game, that's why I kept scrolling. Mobby, they're done. They have just reported their score, Aquaman 2, Vlad 1. We are going into the finals. Alright. The person I have been calling Dwarf Forager, I have been completely boxing the name. Dollargrass. Dollargrass. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed at all. But now I have it correct. Dollargrass. And let me get the scores updated. Alright, they've got score done. Beautiful. Standings is loading. And the way we're going to do this for the finals is we're going to watch all of the final games, and then once the final is done, we'll allow things to kind of trickle out, and then I'm probably, once you guys have seen the finals, I'll cut stream, kill the delay, and then we'll come right back. Maldi is the other person. So, Dollargrass and Maldi, round 6. Best of luck. Oh, it auto-generated the bracket this time. Well, that was nice of it. It's made me... No, now it's making me manually do it. How long have we been going? 5 hours? It's not too bad. I anticipated 5 to 6. I think what we will do in the future, and I will make these changes and posts to the Master Series, is we will end up moving the start time forward some to assist those in Europe. Because I do get that it's getting pretty late out there. Dollargras, German, and Maldi, Russian. Well, there we go. It's like the old chess tournaments, where you had the German Masters versus the Russian Masters. You know, pre-Bobby Fischer. Who's Bobby Fischer here? Broda's the first person who showed up as US. So I nominate Broda as Bobby Fischer. Yum Yum could be Bobby Fischer, so could Pimley. But Broda starts with a B, and Bobby starts with a B. There's also an O there. Kind of fitting. We're going to be watching Maldi here. As soon as they get in game, we will go. And what I will do in the meantime is I will attempt to track down a kitty. Kitty. There you is. There you is. Come on, kitty. Scoop. Scoop the kitty. Yes, I'm gonna get you good kitty snick snacks. Let me just double check, make sure we're not in game. We are not. There you go. There's some good kitty snick snacks. We are finally down to our last bag of snick snacks. We had like 6 at one point in time sitting in my desk. Let's close out, reopen, just in case this has the same bug the Asia client has where it doesn't update this, but I think it does. But you can just sit in here. So, let's take a look at the deck lists. I said we were going to look at those real quick. So, without knowing bans, let me go ahead and pull up our deck lists. These first 3 are Maldi's, and let me put them up on screen. Display capture that button. So, right here is the deck that we have been seeing with, oh, what is that? Ebonheart? No. Monk plus red. Halalu. We have not seen the Halalu list in play at all. There's the Halalu list. Runs Cloak and Dagger, fair bit of charge, relatively low, and then uses Syl and Wild's Incarnate as closers. There is the Tribunal Control that we have been seeing. Ends with Soul Burst, and has fairly large number of high-value creatures. And then there is the Guildsworn mid-range. I do like involving Ice Storm in mid-range. It's always been a inclusion that I've been happy with. Guildsworn Oathman is nice as well. Has a lot of value for a 5-drop. Then in the other corner, on Dollargraz, there we go. With Dollargraz, let me pull up his lists. Their lists. Yoink, yoink, yoink. The first one is Goblin number 1. It's Goblin Scout that runs a single copy of Banelord, thus being the closest to Banelord that we have seen run, and therefore, my favorite deck. The Archer, creatively titled Archer, runs single copy of Swift Strike and is just aggro, single copy of Rage. I like it. Relatively low curve, 5 prophecies. And then the Warrior list, I guess we've seen this a couple times, really likes running Syl. There's another person running Syl. I haven't run Syl in a very long time. I've always preferred to throw out a Titanborn. But Syl cannot be silenced and has better stats. And if your opponent takes the lane and say is a control list, you can use that to function as card draw. So I get it. 4 prophecies, but does run 2 Wood Orc Headhunters to try to help close the game with charge. I like the lists. I like them a lot. Let's go ahead, switch back over to game, and they are not quite in yet. So, if I had to pick a ban, let's bring those decks back up. What would I ban? I kind of get... So we've got aggro, aggro, aggro. What we're kind of afraid of is another aggro deck that could potentially do aggro better than we can. The Halalu deck is that deck. So I think that's an easy ban on Halalu. But looking back over here, so then I think I'm going to be stuck with a Control Tribunal and a Control Guildsworn. Mid-Guildsworn. I'm worried about the one that... Do I have Banishes and Silences? Yes on the Silences, no on the Banishes. Yes on the Banishes here. So I trust in the Tribunal to deal with the Warrior. The Archer has Charge from hand, which I can't control. The Goblins does typically need to be on board, but can get out of hand really quick. I think I ban the... Not the Warrior. I think I banned the Archer. So Archer and Halalu are my predicted bans. I'm never accurate, though, so we'll see what gets run. They are still... I guess they are given a 10-minute break at the beginning. And it looks like Dollargraz is currently using that break just to recoup, use the restroom, get some water, just give themselves some time to rest and relax before they have to sit down and finish this up. I recall back when I was in Masters and I got this far, I was shaking. So I completely understand. We are still going to wait. I understand there's other people playing, but we'll see it here soon. What else can we talk about? We did get a kitty. We can talk about the kitty. That's an Earth kitty. Earth kitty has a new favorite game. So his new favorite game is for it to be 4 a.m. and he wants pets. I realize that's a really simple game. It doesn't really qualify a game because right now that's just a need. So I guess I better explain the rules. So the rules are, when it's 4 a.m., you're an orange kitty, and you want pets. You then need to approach your humans, and there's a couple steps you need to take. The first move is you nudge the humans with your head. You do this at least 2 times, preferably combined with a meow, just to try to get their attention. However, it is possible that the humans are asleep, and if the meow has not woken them, they are not likely to wake up. The next thing you have the option of is just gently nibbling on their hands. Not to draw blood, just to be like, "Rawr, I'm fighting you, rawr." However, in hindsight, the humans have learned a counter move, which is panic when they wake up and something is biting them. This has ended in Kitty getting booped or launched at least twice. Therefore, that is the least safe maneuver. The safe maneuver is to go over to nearby stuff, and I see Mox Maldi getting in game, so we will hop in to observe. As soon as Doll Forager is in, there they are, we are off in the finals. But so the final move, the one that wins you the game, is you start chewing on the human stuff. That always wakes humans up. Well, specifically the female of the two. So you chew on her stuff, and then she's awake, and then she's forced to pet you. That's how it works. Alright, so we do see the Tribunal Control and the Scout. So thus far, no different than what we had assumed for our starting hand. Opening here, we have a Skinned Hound and an Edict. Not bad. Didn't have a 2-drop, but did manage to find the Mournhold Trader in time. So now this is going to just be about wearing your opponent down. Ring out Skulk, same lane. No, it's trying to get rid of Corner Club Gambler before it's going to be straight up insta-removed by Tribunal. I can respect that. Picks up 2 charge creatures and is able to push for 8. The Execute will deal with the Skulk, and we might see Skinned Hound buff this up so that the trade doesn't kill it. Skinned Hound then going over into the field lane to facilitate a trade with this. If he tries to value trade on the 2/1 guard. Really solid early control from the Tribunal.
What's yours?
Now, given the prevalence of curses, I would expect to trade straight into the Grey Viper Brigand. And then, because you've got your 7-drops, probably just an on-curve Murkwater Guide into the Shadow Lane. Razum is potentially going to come in very, very handy here. Specifically because if you get some of that Tribunal greed, specifically like a Tribunal Lightning Bolt would be the best. I could go for pulling a Tribunal Lightning Bolt or Incano. Just any face damage would be good. So Grey Fox could eventually steal that bolt if needed for the extra burst. Might look to steal that now. I'm not sure I can get behind stealing it now.
Just forget about seeing. Everyone does.
Telvas is a really good pull. If Telvas is played, that's going to require an answer.
I will not be on the wrong side of history.
Steal a car Corner Club? Meh? Yep. So you can ring out Razum. That is your last ring charge, though. And you're only getting 2 cards off of it, but I think that's 2 cards that's really the best you're ever going to hope for versus Tribunal. Sees that his opponent has an Edict. His opponent drew a Marak, so you missed out on the Marak pull for Razum. It's going to go with the Cliff Racer and then a ring out of the Bloody Hand. Or just play out the Scourge. That's decent because that sets up the Banelord play next turn. You're going wide because you know your opponent has Edict of Azura. I can understand this. Golden Initiate actually going to prove that it was a really good idea that he didn't go face.
I'll teach you to disrespect a Tharn.
We're going to use the Edict on the 2/2. It's a 2/2 that can get out of hand pretty quick. If you're using the Edict, you're setting up the Golden Saint. Because I think you're at the point in the game where you really need to think about setting up Drain. Hit face. You've got a Curse. Oh, looks like we're going to use Banelord Curse? Yeah, because you actually can't Curse Lightning Bolt, which is what I thought. Mana Marco. I think Banelord Curse is good enough. It allows you to clear the drain. Alternatively, you're bolting and you're not playing anything else, which feels really bad. Theoretically, the Banelord trades with Abner Tharn. You're in before he can Marak, so you're not worried about him taking the 7 health guard. There's no way Banelord goes field. I don't foresee that. Fingers of the Mountain. That allows for the full clear. That curse is going to come in handy for the Leaf Lurker, as I imagine we're going to see either Seducer or Telvas come down next turn. Does feel a little weird to use, maybe you don't use Fingers here. You just set up Telvas.
Perhaps we can help one another.
Bump, bump, Razum. Get your 2 cards. And hope they're Bolt. Well, if the first one's Bolt, you don't get the second one. So hope they're Encano and Bolt. You've got 8 damage in hand.
You won't live to regret.
So theoretically, you're set up for lethal. Oh no.
Citizen.
That is literally the worst possible thing that could have happened. Pulling a Laneth isn't bad. But your opponent pulling Drain. On the list of bad things, that one is specifically a bad thing. Telvas is still intact.
Care to make a friendly wager?
What are you discarding here? Ditches Galen. So you've got to clear the drain over the Telvas, in my personal opinion. So you curse Leaf Lurker. Golden Initiate. 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, don't have the Magicka for Bitterfish. And decides that card draw is the most important thing. So we're going to see a Bolt hit the drain? Or maybe Bitterfish just come down so that the drain only does 2? The other Leaf Lurker is coming out without removing. So you're going to go up to 14. What have we got in hand? A Death Priest and a... Death Priest is going to hit Laneth. That's at least a good thing to have gotten rid of.
Prepare yourself.
Opponent now draining 6 per turn. You have 8 damage in hand. You are 2 short of lethal. You can shift your 4-3 out of view. You play to field lane at this point. I think what you want to do is you want to get as much stuff on the board as possible, as securely as possible. So you shift one of your Leaf Lurkers over to the field lane. You play out your Shriveled Mummy, your Bitterfish, your Dust Eater Skirmisher. However, that ends up being Magicka efficient. You do not play your Cliff Racer under any circumstance. You do not play your Bolt under any circumstance. Sadly, as I also would have said you Shadow Shift that out, but wouldn't have mattered with the pickup being an Ice Storm. Big downside here being that removes your ward from Telvas. Plus side, you're not taking all the damage, so it does mean that Dollargaz, with Ice Storm being the pickup, the route they took is better than the route I recommended. Nothing else Mux Maldi could do. Might wait out their timer just to make it look like they're sitting on a decision. So Bitterfish, Field, Shadow Shift. Or are you going to remove the drain and then Shadow Shift? That works as well. I was going to go for the draw and hope you picked up another curse effect.
Speak, citizen.
Put a wound on the Telvas. I can respect that. So there's no drain dead yet here. And Mana Marcoing a Banelord isn't super useful given the spread out lanes.
I don't know it all, but I'm pretty close.
This is a little risky. Might be going for Vivek. Because we've already seen 2 Leaf Lurkers get played. Sothosil would be a good pull, but Vivek is probably the best one you've got. Sarioni would also be pretty good. Sarioni's probably actually the pick. As much as I like Vivek and trusting in the you can't die, Sarioni gives you drain next turn. And not an inconsequential amount of drain, 7 drain. Maldi agrees. And that's going to be game right there, I assume. 4 damage face, you can clear the mummy. Then Archcannon drops Shadow, exalts, hits Laneth, Laneth trades. Assumes his opponent pulled... Ooh. So there were Cliff Racers in this deck, once upon a time. That was a good time when there were Cliff Racers in the deck.
Nicely done.
And he's gonna have to give a card, but I think giving 1 card for 7 is fine. 7 health.
Behold the tribunal's blood.
Get the value trade here. Guard in both lanes. Yeah, no, that's over.
It has been an engaging hunt.
Dollargraz realizes it. And there we go. We might see him play it out, but just opts for the concession.
Done for.
Alright, game 1. So what we're going to see is the Tribunal Control, again, versus whatever Dollargraz has available. Gave the wrong screenshot and won the first game. What differed? This is supposed to be handled in game, but I will handle it here. Alright, game 2. Let me take a look at where they're at on the brackets. So we've got the Aggro Archer. Okay. The Execute coming down just to keep things clear. Not the greatest control hand, unlike last time. Phalanx Exemplar is going to help, and Ice Storm's eventually going to make a difference.
The Nords must take back Skyrim.
Have business with
But is it going to be too late? And Bushwhack will help late game, allowing to bypass guards.
Your coin or your life. Choose.
Okay, so options. I think I like playing the Stormcloak Vanguard, just getting a big boy down. I'm not sure. Yeah, you're playing it field's still safe. We're going to see a Phalanx Exemplar come down, to which Earthbone Spinner's going to negate it. Allowing for 9 damage, and we're going to push him to 6. I do think you split lanes here. You pivot and start going Shadow.
I fight with the fervor of the wild hunt.
Telvas will be helpful, but you also need to be able to clear the board. Ice Storm does that, so you just trade, Ice Storm, get your guard. Opponent rings out Sai Sahan. You hope you find an answer for Sai Sahan, because Sai Sahan plus Bushwhack is lethal.
What's yours?
They'll never get the best of
Free, I will spill your blood.
Yeah, I could have had the guard alive. Happened, though.
What have we here?
Opts to go for the wide board play. I honestly probably would have risked Sai Sahan.
Give me an 8.
sorry for this that needs to be going on right now.
Never get ground.
Okay, so we've got a couple options here. I don't like using the Bushwhack to get 3. So maybe we Rapid Shot first and just see, maybe we pick up a Scimitar, maybe we pick up a Leaf Lurker. Something that allows us to get past that. Then we ring out... okay. I still think we should Rapid Shot draw.
I will keep the evidence safe.
An interesting choice. And set up the Seducer. Just needs to get an item for Stormcloak Vanguard. Start cycling, pinging the Seducer. Just see what comes out. A Rage.
The Nords must take back.
So we're setting up for a wrung out Cradle Crush in that lane. It's not too bad. Clears the guard. Doesn't natively trade with Seducer. We might see a Firebolt trade Telvas. Protect against a charge. Goes to keep the Drain alive. Fair.
We can help one another.
Let's heat things up.
Then drops the Battalion. Going for Scourge. Just reduce the amount of drain your opponent's getting. It's fair enough. So, bump trade. Do you want to give him a card? You don't have a choice but to give him a card. Drop Manticora down as a guard in this lane? Or do you want to exalt Vivek? I mean, you still have your ward. Looks to use Abner Tharn. Copying Skaven, I would assume. I mean, it's the... unless he wants to get a curse. I guess it really doesn't matter which way he goes. Copying Skaven to clear, copying getting a curse and clearing. The result is the same. Chooses not to give the card. That makes sense. Picks up a Golden Initiate. Scimitar, previously the correct draw. No longer. Cast at a time, followed up by a Golden Initiate. Puts 3 drain on board, clears board. You still have the ward to defend you. Against what would otherwise be a Tazcad Scimitar lethal. Picks up Marak. Belly G the drain. Because from Dollargraz, the Rage will be enough to hit that. He doesn't need to play another card in this lane. And then the Scimitar allows you to go face for lethal. We'll either see a Manticora or oh, don't equip the Scimitar this turn. No, 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 no. You could have done that next turn. I guess playing around a Lightning Bolt is why he did it. But it just increases the threat. So Max Maldi is basically debating, do I Manticora it? Or do I Marak it? Opts to go with the Marak, it looks like.
Hope to outrun destiny.
Nicely done.
Garnag, useful, but see if he still had the Scimitar, it'd be so much more useful. Actually, if you still had the Scimitar, Garnag plus Scimitar would break through for, if I remember correctly, 4 hits ward, 2, 4, 5, so would not be enough for lethal. But could be played the next turn over here as Scimitar Rage. Oh, you can't play Rage when you have Garnag down. Ignore me. I'm delusional. And those are 2 cards that are hopelessly opposed to one another.
We must protect the Night Mother.
This does prevent Vivek, it does prevent Manticora, Lenneth. It does prevent Tazcad if you were to draw Tazcad. We'll probably see a Hive Defender Initiate come down. Just set up some more drain. Keep things going nice and calm. No reason to panic. If we're Mox Maldi, we know our opponent's been holding 2 cards in hand, and we know one of them is a curse. Because it was picked up off of Gabo Boy.
Speak, citizen.
Swift Strike. Not enough. The curse puts it to 5. Swift Strike puts it to 1. Or hits it to 1. Swift Strike trades off Garnag and breaks through here. So just reduce the drain, not even putting the wound on the Hive Defender. So bump, trade, Seducer. Resist giving your opponent a card.
Teach you to disrespect the father.
Or are we at lethal?
Just give me an
14, 19, 25, 30. Yeah, we've got lethal. Well, never mind then.
Sorry it had to come to this.
What's yours is mine.
With the rune skip, we have it. 2-0. The victory has been handed out. So that's it then. Let's go ahead and pull up the bracket and we can put in the scores if they haven't beaten us to it. My mic is muted. Hi guys. I'm a professional. Hey, what was I saying? I was saying I enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed everything. And then I read off Jordan's thing where he said Mac won the elimination version. That was by design. So it was designed that enough rounds would produce a single person who went undefeated. Just everything else functioned for tiebreak. I've got to work out some Swiss things, but there were only 4 matches that ended up causing issues. Oh, I'm tired. It's been a day. Had 3 no-shows in a row. That's points. Why is there no info that we should play all qualifiers? Because I've mentioned it in the videos that describe the Masters tournament. Also, all of the Masters tournaments held to date. So I didn't list it because I didn't think it was necessary. And yeah, delay is off, Nikke. I turned it off because you guys had seen the finals. Everyone else is still finishing up their rounds, but once we had seen the final round, everything else is just cleaning up. And I will probably have to do some cleanup tomorrow, just to make sure everything behaves itself. We have a comfy sleeping kitty. He's a very comfy sleeping kitty. You can still continue for 2 more hours. So what we're probably going to do is I'm probably going to go edit the other times for the qualifiers forward 1 hour initially. How many people ended up dropping off? Let's check. So one of the things I'm going to be changing is where you guys would see the skips and the delays is because Battlefy sucks bandwidth. So much bandwidth goes into that site. And I did not even fathom that the site would crash the computer. But anytime I tried opening Battlefy or editing Battlefy, it just broke my internet. So I'm going to get a laptop that I already own, and I'm going to set it up here next to me. And I'm going to use that for accessing Battlefy in the future. I don't know how many people dropped. There's really no way. Who's going to the finals from today? That is going to be that dapper individual right there. Maximaldi went completely undefeated. So if we go over into standings, we will see right there, representing Russia, Maximaldi, 6 wins, 0 ties, 0 losses. Let's see, I know the bottom 2 here dropped relatively early, but he got disqualified, so I'm not sure he counts. And these scores down here I need to go through and edit, because one of the biggest problems I ran into running Battlefy here is I can't remove participants mid-street or mid-tournament. I could do that. Oh, you guys can't see anything. I'm tired. Display capture. So what I was showing you guys, let's go back over to participants. Yeah, look at that. That's the icon they're using. Obviously, also the winner of a 60-pack code, and second and third, once the standings end up getting finalized, will end up getting points as well. I believe this is tiebreak points, yes. So that point right there is what I'm going to be grabbing. Looks like I might end up handing out 2-pack codes to multiple people, as it seems there is a tie all the way down to 6th. Although, the opponent's win match percentage is our other tiebreak, so Aquaman's where it's going to get capped. But in terms of points carried forward, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. Congrats to all on that. Was Kim able to play? No. For whatever reason, I think Kim missed check-in. And it automatically disqualified her. No points for all participants? No. Everyone gets points. So even this guy who was disqualified still got 3 points for showing up. So everyone nets a decent chunk of points. And if you consider that it's 15 per tourney, you'll probably need... I estimated that you need 2 really solid finishes to advance. That might turn into 3 solid finishes. And so we're probably looking at 45 points needed to advance. So these guys all have very good scores, but everyone else has a good chance of advancing anyway. Congrats, Matson, to all Europeans who managed to stay awake. Yes. I'm looking to see if it tells me what happened to Queen, but I believe it was a failure to check in, which we had 50 people check in of the 61, so that wasn't too bad. 50 still requires 6. Where's where we can go to 5 rounds? 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8, 16, 32. So you can only do 5 rounds at 32. So we're probably going to have to keep 6 rounds for the future. I will likely, unless somebody is volunteering to co-host, I will probably not seek out a co-host for the future ones, just because that further taxes the strain on the internet. Unless you guys like the voice call, and that wasn't a problem. I'm going to be doing a detailed look at that tomorrow. I enjoyed having Lord Costa here. There were definitely issues on the back end, but for the first time running something of this scale on a crap internet, I think it worked pretty okay. But we are going to be calling it here. So I'll just throw us over here on the ending screen. I'll put out congratulatory tweet. And otherwise, we'll be back with more Tessel gameplay tomorrow. We're going to be doing our gauntlet run. And probably just generally talking Masters. I'll make sure the deck lists or deck images get posted to Discord for the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. We had cats to watch. That is true. There was a Sleepy Earth kitty up there. I'd like to, but I'd also like to play. Yeah, no, I completely get that. But anyhow, good night, good vibes. I'll see y'all around.